If you're just joining us, this is Keely Austin, your host. Welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. Today's trainer is guest speaker, Richard Stock. Before Renatus, Richard was a six-figure earner, and this was actually before the crash. And when the crash happened, he lost everything. In 2011, he had quite a bit of debt, and he found himself living in his in-laws' basement apartment. Around this time, he found Renatus, and within the last 5 years, he's gone from the in-laws' basement to a beautiful home in Salt Lake City. He's paid off tons of debt. He's picked up rental properties, which allows him to spend time with wife and children through the monthly cash flow. He's excited every day to help other people tap into their strengths and achieve success. Richard, are you here? You'll have to take yourself off of mute.
Try that. How's that? Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Yes. Good morning. Let me get you the controls.
Okay. Do you know what? Perfect. And you know what? I am excited to be able to be on the call today. Michael asked me to come out and just do a fun little training. And so we're going to have some fun this morning. Just one little correction that we need to do is this, we have actually this Saturday here in Salt Lake, this is going to be a training on building for the Mark Kohler Intensive. So the Mark Kohler Intensive is actually September 28th. However, this Saturday from 10 until 12 here in Salt Lake at the office, we're going to be doing a training on how to build for that event to get as many people there. And then afterwards, if you guys want, we are going to a park and we're going to be just doing a barbecue. So bring the meat, bring the buns, a side dish. We'll have the briquettes and everything going. And we are just going to have a fun like barbecue and stuff from 1 o'clock until 3 o'clock. So that'll be 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock on Saturday. So that is this Saturday. And then, of course, the Mark Kohler Intensive is on September 28th. But Michael had asked me to kind of come out, and I said, hey, what do you want me to train on? And he's like, well, I want you to train him on how to make the millions. And so as I've been thinking about that training, I want to go back to where something that makes a significant difference in being able to go out and make money. And the first thing is this. Understand that no matter what we go through, we have to go through the 4 levels of learning. The first step is going to be unconscious incompetent. Unconscious incompetent. We don't know what we don't know, okay? We have no clue what people are talking about. So that's unconscious incompetent. And then we have unconscious competent. We now know what we don't know. We now know what we don't know. So unconscious incompetent, we don't know what we don't know. Unconscious competent is now we know what we don't know. And then number 3 is conscious competent. Conscious competent. This is what we know, but we have to think about it. Okay? So conscious competent, we know the information, but we have to think about it. And then number 4 is unconscious competent. Things become automatic. We don't think about it, things just start coming out. And so the reason I'm starting off with this is I want you guys to just think for a second. Where are you right now in building for your events? When it comes to finding the people, are you an unconscious competent or conscious or where are you at? Unconscious competent, conscious competent, unconscious competent. Where are we at when it comes to finding the people? Where are you at right now when it comes to telling the story? Where are you at right now when it comes for building for the events? Where are we at when it comes to setting the follow-up and doing the follow-up? And then where are we at in getting our people started correctly? Because if we are in unconscious competent or we are conscious competent, we know how to build for events, but we're always having to think about it. And we're having a hard time getting guests there. It doesn't matter if we know how to do the follow-up or not. We got to spend time right now going out and building for that, or finding the people to build for that event. And so a lot of IMAs that I've talked to, they're like, okay, I understand that. Now I do, I can find the people. I am getting people to the events, okay? They're coming to the events, but when it comes to getting the follow-up set or even doing the follow-up, I'm starting to struggle. And so one thing that I want to talk about today is this. And it's something that has made a big impact on my business, which is also going to help you get more people to the events. And it is this. It's becoming more likable. Becoming more likable. So to become more likable, the number one thing we have to do is we have to be positive. And everything that we're doing, we have to be positive. And then at the end, we're going to review a quick script, and then you guys will see how easy it is to get more butts in seats. So number one, be positive, and remember that smiling is your best weapon. As we go and as we smile, we become more likable, we become more approachable. But on top of that, the other thing that happens is this. As we smile, it gives across a different body language. We have to remember this. Our body language is 55% of what people remember. 38% is voice. Only 7% are the words that come out of our mouth. So guys, it's between 7% is the words. 93% is our body language and our voice. And so when we are able to be more positive, where we are able to be more happier, we're obviously going to be able to attract more people. The second thing that we have to do is we actually have to listen. So number two is listen and be interested in their conversation, okay? So be interested and listen. One of the things that we can do first and foremost is remember their name. What is their name? And let's give a sincere compliment. If we give them a sincere compliment, we turn around, we ask questions. Really, tell me more about that.
My little buddy.
What would that mean
Oh,
to you?
here's my little buddy.
Someone just brought their little buddy out on the phone and is kissing them. So we got to be able to turn around and remember their name, sincere compliments, and then guys, this is a big one. Make sure you put your phones away when you're talking to other people. Just not when
I
you're
love
in
your
person.
cheeks. You're the best.
Okay, so if you just came out, please go ahead and put yourself on mute. Is make sure especially when you're in groups, you put your phone away. Amanda, that's you. Beautiful. Okay. Is we turn around and we put our phones away, whether we are in groups or whether we're talking to someone. There's nothing worse than having a conversation with somebody and they are on their phone the whole time. And so as we are able to do that, now we are able to be more interested in what they're saying. The third thing that we need to do to become more likable is we have to be real with the people that we are talking to. And how can we become real? We're genuine, sincere, and authentic in the things that we say. Genuine, sincere, and authentic in the things that we say. There's a great story with John Huntsman here in Salt Lake, where John Huntsman, had made a deal with someone where he was going to sell 40% of his company for $43 million. He turned around, he gave him the handshake. Well, things didn't necessarily go the way they wanted to with the merger and everything else, they didn't bring in as much money. But he still turned around and gave his partner 40%. And the guy asked him, why did you turn around and, give me 40% even though we made less than we were supposed to? And he said, it's very simple. I shook your hand. That when we are talking to prospects, when we're talking to guests, that we're genuine, authentic, and we are real. Those things always come back and they always make a difference for us. And so if we're able to go through and be, as we look at this, number one, that we have a great attitude, that we are positive, that our body language is positive in the things that we are saying. Number two, that we're interested, that we give sincere compliments, that we remember their name, and we put away the phone. The next thing that we are going to do, obviously, is be genuine, authentic, and sincere. And when we do that, we become more likable. So we know that we do business with those individuals that we like and trust. And so if we aren't being very likable, we obviously are not going to be putting in a bunch of orders. We aren't going to be making the money that we want to make. And so, guys, this is the easiest way. The easiest way to be able to go out and have massive success, to being able to find individuals who want to do business. Now, this is something that over the last, I've used this in a different format for about 15 years. But it is what has made the biggest difference in my business. And it is very, very simple. It is understanding. Now I understood it as the law of importance, but now more what you guys know as the drive system. So this is what I want you to think about for just a minute. What is the conversation close? What is the conversation close? And that has switched just a little. So if you guys aren't familiar with it or this new version, I want you to write it down. Other than family and work, what are you most passionate about? So I'm curious, other than family and work, what are you most passionate about? Once we know what they are truly passionate about, now we are able to start figuring out what their drive system is. Once we know what their drive system is, we are able to go out and have more success. So I'm going to take it back to what we talked about at the beginning. There's the 4 levels of learning. Okay?
I think we need to cut this.
Hey, Rhonda, go ahead and put yourself on mute. We have unconscious, incompetent. Right? So unconscious, incompetent, we don't know what we don't know. Or it's unconscious, incompetent. Unconscious, competent. We now know what we don't know. Conscious, competent. We know it, but we have to think about it. Then unconscious, competent, it becomes automatic for us. As we understand, if we're finding the people, tell the story, build for events, and follow up and duplicate. We know where we are struggling there. We now become more likable. Now, guys, we're going to go back and we're going to add that question in there. Other than family and work, what are you most passionate about? That is going to be able to help you get more people to the events. It's going to be able to help you start a conversation easier. It's also going to be able to help you be more likable, authentic, genuine, sincere when you talk to the people, because it is a different question than they have ever been asked before. And then the next thing that we're going to be able to do is, as we go and we find out what they're most passionate about, then turn around, invite them, let's say, to a house tour. Now they come down to a house tour, and we can say, all right, Bob, so off of the money that you saw they were going to make on this house, would that allow you to do whatever they said they were most passionate about? So tonight we're going to a house tour here in Salt Lake. There's going to be about $35,000 made on that house. Then when they come, we're going to ask the guests, so would that allow you to go and get the new car that you wanted? Would that allow you to get out of debt faster? Would that allow you to pay your student loans off faster? Would that allow you to travel? Would that allow you to start that charity? Would that allow you to be able to spend more time out hiking and being in nature? And whatever it is they said they're most passionate about, we're taking it back to that. We're going to say, well, of course it would. Awesome. That's why you need to be there on Thursday night. Then when they come down on Thursday night, they see the house or they see the presentation. Now they see it's 20 grand. We're going to go back to the same thing. So those, the individual who did that house tour on Tuesday, they came down, they got the education, and that's what allowed them to do, the transactions they're doing now. You see why getting the education will allow you to be able to go back and do whatever it is they said they are most passionate about. Once they do that and once they understand, it becomes so much easier to be able to go out and build our business. Okay? Because now as they're coming down, we take everything back to what they are most passionate about. And then, of course, that makes it easier to be able to do the follow-ups, because now they're to set the follow-ups because we're doing what they're most passionate about. And then, of course, when they come down and they know we're going to be talking about what they're most passionate about and how Renatus can help them, that is going to allow them and help them to want to get started faster with us. So it's understanding the 4 levels of learning. After the 4 levels of learning, we become more likable. Once we become more likable and we understand drive and understand the very basic question, other than family and work, what are you most passionate about? That whole conversation is now going to be based off their drive, which is going to help you get more people to the events. The more people you have to events, the more people that are going to do follow-ups. The more people that do follow-ups, the more money you are going to be able to turn around and you are going to be able to make. And so when I think about the basics of being able to build a business, that's what it is being able to do those basic things. Become more, or understand the 4 levels of learning, understanding where we're at, then becoming more likable. And as we become more likable, we use the drive system, we will be able to get more people to the events, which is going to be able to help you guys go out and be able to make more money and have more of the success that you guys truly want to be able to have. And so with that being said, what I want to do is I want you guys to be able to come out, ask me any questions about what we went over this morning so we can make it a little more clear to you guys if you guys have any questions. What questions do you guys have? Now I'll go into something else, but I want to make sure we get any questions addressed before we go on. Any questions, go ahead and come off of mute.
Hi. I was just wondering, when there's not an event close, what things should I use to get them connected? Okay,
Rhonda, where are you at now?
I'm in Spokane.
Okay, so this is what I would do. Depending on where you're at, I would just plug into one of the live broadcasts that are happening. I don't know, like if Michael's broadcasting out of Denver, I know I broadcast here out of our office every Thursday night. We broadcast, so I know Kendall out of Southern California, he broadcasts live out of his office every Wednesday night. So I would just find a live broadcast. I always think live broadcasts are easier because they're going to be able to come. They can actually ask questions during that presentation in the live chat, format. So I would get them onto a live presentation broadcast if you can. If not, we also have the Bob Coast to Coast videos that you can also use. And then, Rhonda, were you at Nationals?
I was not this year, but I am definitely going next year.
Okay. So one of the things that I would also do is I have a 10-minute conversation that we use. I call it my cash flow quadrant presentation, where we go in and we can break it down in 10 minutes, who we are, what we do, and how they can go out and accomplish their goals and their dreams. And then that builds more value to then get them on, one of the other recorded presentations that Michael has or something like that you can plug into. We can also go into the back office, and inside the back office, there's a bunch of videos and stuff there that Michael's done, that I've done, that Scott Rowe has done. I would find out which one speaks to you the best, and then turn around and send out the links on that and let them watch the videos that way. So a couple of different ways and how you can get people to the events.
Thank you so much.
And then if you have any questions on that, send me a message on Facebook or whatever, and I can get you the links to the Zoom that we broadcast here on Thursday night.
What Facebook is that?
Or sorry, on Zoom. I do a Zoom broadcast every Thursday. If you guys want, just send me a message on Facebook, and I can send you guys the link to our presentation we do Thursday night at 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Great questions. Any other questions that you guys have before I go into the next thing? Okay. If there's no other questions, then one of the things.
Richard, this is Wanda. There's a question on the chat. How to sign for ATM?
Okay, I will get that here in just a second. Any other questions first? Okay, well, if there's not, then guys, one of the things that honestly made a significant difference for me when I came down and I got started was this. And Keely kind of mentioned it here in the very beginning. Guys, I started back in 2005. I was introduced in February 2005. I was introduced to, I've been looking for real estate investment education. I'd gone out, I'd spent money with the gurus, trying to figure it out. I was introduced to Bob's previous company. Now, on Bob's previous company, we were able to go out and back from 2005, 2006, 2007. Things were absolutely phenomenal. I was living in Southern California. And when I was living down there, you could buy a home, you could wait 8 months, 9 months, turn around and sell it and make $70,000, $80,000 on that home. And we thought we were investors. And being able to market the education at that time was extremely easy to be able to do. Well, in 2009 or 2008, 2008, I believe it was, I went through a training. At that time, that was called the BBB, the Business Builder Bootcamp. Well, in the Business Builder Bootcamp, one of the things that I learned was this. I learned the 4 core beliefs. And in the 4 core beliefs, understanding that Renatus was the best income opportunity in the country, that we were doing them a favor. As I started thinking about those things when 2009, 2010 hit, when Bob came to me and said, hey, I'm going to be starting up Renatus. I said, Bob, if you're doing it, I'm all in. And Bob took what we had in the past and made Renatus 1,000,000 times better than what had happened before. And the biggest thing that got me through the most challenging times is I was living in my in-laws' basement apartment. I was absolutely drowning in debt with 60 to 100 collection calls coming in every single day. Feeling like a complete failure as a husband, a father, and a provider. And I said, man, I want a different life. Bob said, I'm going to start this up. And it was the 4 core beliefs that truly got me through those hardest times. To be able to say, you know what, no matter how hard life gets, no matter what happens, I know that everybody needs Renatus. Now, with Renatus, and I said, this is the thing. I want to be able to go out and I want to be able to have the success. And especially with what's happening right now, guys, and the economy, with all the fun things that are happening, one of the biggest things is we want, or what I have found is people want the easiest way to be able to go out and build a business. To being able to take kind of what I talked about earlier today, understanding the 4 levels of learning, understanding Rob Sperry's book, The Game of Networking and Becoming More Likable, and saying, let's go out and learn from the very beginning. And this is a training that Michael has gone through. Guys, the last 5 years, 4 out of the top 5 income earners have gone through this training. And it is one that Pete kind of came out and had asked about, and it was ATM. And ATM it was so fun, as I remember back in 2011, about April, going through the first time, seeing the stress when Michael went through it, and like, man, what are all these things? But what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking and breaking the business down into bite-sized pieces to make it as easy as possible to be able to understand. Because the 5th thing when it comes to building this business that a lot of people don't do, and this is absolutely the key to having success in this business, and it is duplication. Duplication. If we are just counting on the orders that we are putting in to be able to make extra money, guys, we are self-employed. When we have other people putting orders in the system for us, what ends up happening is this: we are truly a business owner. And so what we end up doing through the ATM process is teaching you how to be able to go out and become a business owner. How to be able to go out and create more Richards. How to be able to go out and create more Michaels. How to be able to go out and create more Nates. How to be able to go out and create, more Johns. How to be able to go out and truly duplicate ourselves. If I look back at the one thing that Bob Snyder told me 10 years ago, this was 8.5 years ago. He said, Richard, if you never want to be hungry again, go out and find 10 people like you. If you never want to be hungry again, go out and find 10 people like you. And so that's what we started doing, and that's what we started implementing on how to be able to go out and create and have that duplication. That no matter what happens, every single month you have money being deposited into your bank account. And so that's really what the ATM process is being able to learn how to take the classes, and this is one thing you're going to be able to learn, how as we watch the classes, we don't watch classes from a marketing or from a real estate perspective all the time, but we start watching classes from a marketing standpoint. When I just watched this tax and legal day 1 and day 2, how can I go out and share that information with other people and be able to market it to them? I just watched this class here on private money, hard money, and the 401k IRA class. How can I go out and share that with other people? I just learned this over here with Velocity Banking. How can I go and in 3 minutes sit down, go through the Velocity Banking calculator, pique people's interest, and have them come down to an event? How can my friend who's always complaining about paying too much in taxes, how can I show him to legally pay less in taxes? Not teach him, not instruct him, not any of that. Just show a couple examples on how that is done. How can I go out and be able to start putting more cash orders in the system? And so we're going to be focusing on that. And so going back to what Wanda had just come out and asked about, and Wanda just put the link there in the comment, is with ATM, that's what we are going to be discussing. And I fly out every Thursday night. From Thursday night, I fly down to San Diego. Ken Evans in San Diego picks me up. We turn around, we head to Kendall's office or Kendall's house. I usually get to his house around 1 o'clock in the morning, wake up, do our team call Friday morning, and then the ATM. After ATM, we usually go out, play, do some other things, get to bed about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then Ken picks me up at 4:15, turn around, fly back to Salt Lake. And we do that 5 Fridays in a row to be able to help people not only start understanding their business better on how to more effectively build their business, but most importantly, how to duplicate their business. And sometimes as people come down the first time, they're a little overwhelmed. They're like, man, I feel like I'm drinking out of a fire hose. And then the second time, the fire hose is still coming, but it's a little less pressure. By the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, guys, I've had people now going in, I think it's their 10th or 11th time into ATM, is all of a sudden everything has completely slowed down. They're having massive success and being able to build their business. And wanted to put the link in there. It is atm10.eventbrite.com. So atm10.eventbrite.com. And that starts this Friday. Now, some individuals have asked me in the past, well, Richard, we want to be able to go out and do this. However, I work on Fridays. I can't get Fridays off of work. Guys, that's absolutely okay. If you can't get Fridays off of work, it is recorded, and then you are sent that recording. Now, this is the one thing with the recording. With the recording, it is only good. People usually get it Saturday. Some people get it Friday night, depends on how fast everything uploads and all the fun stuff. But usually by Saturday afternoon, by around 12, people have that link. That link is good until the following Friday. So if you can't attend on Friday, you have Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to be able to watch the class, get all the homework, and then that class is erased. And then the next day on Saturday, week 2 is sent out. And we spend a ton of time focusing on those things of duplication, how to build it or how to get your business up and running. And then the biggest one, guys, this is what has created the most success in my business, is duplication. duplication and helping other people go out and to be able to build the same business that I have been able to build. But it comes back. And guys, I've learned it the hard way. It comes back to you have to become more likable, which is how we started the conversation off. There's a difference between ego and confidence. We stay away from the ego and we focus on being confident. And this is one thing that, as I look back, and I know there's been a lot of one things, but it's this today, is when I look back, guys, you have to stop making it about you and make it 100% about them. Guys, even when I needed a paycheck, I needed a check so stinking bad to be able to pay bills, be able to pay rent, to be able to put food on the table. Guys, I would be doing follow-ups. In the middle of the follow-ups, I had collection companies calling me during the follow-ups. And what you're going to learn is this: it's 100% about them. It's not about you. When we make this business about them and we become more likable, we become more confident in the things we're saying, we now become a leader that people want to follow. We want to become that person that they're looking for, to say that person, this group, can take me to the promised land of my financial independence, on my goals, my dreams, my passions. And when we understand it's not about us, it's 100% about them. Think about when you go and talk to somebody and all it is, the whole conversation is about them and how great they are. How long do you want to be talking to someone like that? And when we are always talking about us, guys, people are sick and tired of it. They want to know what Renatus can do for them, how Renatus can take them to where they want to go. And so one of the things that happens is, as we're talking to people, is I will share my story every once in a while. But if I do, I actually do it in kind of a third-party form, so they actually don't know it's me. But when I share my story is literally only about 35, 45 seconds. Now, if it's during the presentation, I might expand it, and this is one of the things that we have to understand. And comes with practice, and this is with ATM and a bunch of other things. How can you tell your story in 15 seconds? How can you tell your story in 90 seconds? We have to be able to do both of them, 15 seconds, 90 seconds. And then depending on what situation we're in is going to depend on which story we tell. However, guys, this is the thing. Stop telling your story. Sometimes you need to, but get to know other people's stories. I want you to think about in your group, how many people's stories do you know of individuals that are directors, individuals that are relators, individuals that are intellectuals, validators, and executives? So you know if you're talking to a director, you are going to be able to tell that story from a director's standpoint. If you're talking to an intellectual, I can tell this story over here from an intellectual standpoint. Start getting and sharing other people's stories, guys. They know what's working for you, or you wouldn't be talking to them about it. They want to know what it has done for other people. What has Renatus done for other people? It's working, you're talking to me. You must like it. But I want to know what's done for that little guy over there. And when I say little guy, I don't mean that in any disparaging factor, but that person that's over there. I want to know what's done for that person over there. And because as we know, facts tell, stories sell. And so those are the things that we start looking at. Those are the things that we start doing to be able to help us have the success that we want to have. And so that's what we're going to be spending a ton of time in, is with ATM. Like I said, if I could go back and credit my success to what we've been able to have, and guys, it is absolutely 100% ATM that's got me to where I am at today. Now, there is that link. It's in the comments and stuff there. Once again, it is atm10.eventbrite.com. It is broadcast across the country. So you guys can go in, you guys can get registered for it. But that is where you're going to start being able, whether you've been in the business, 30 days or you've been in 5 years, guys, this is the fun thing that I'm doing on this ATM. I've been, with Renata since day one. I'm going back and all the homework that is being assigned. I had someone say, well, Richard, you don't do the homework, that you assign out. And I'm like, well, I do, but what I'm going to do this time, the exact same homework assignments I'm giving you is exactly what I'm coming back and doing. And then eventually, guys, we're going to help you guys go out and start being able to borrow people's audiences. A lot of us aren't there yet, let me rephrase that. A lot of you aren't there yet in truly borrowing other people's audiences. But I just want to help you understand this one thing. When we become more likable, people trust you. When I was down in Texas 2 weeks ago, I was able to get in and, guys, when I'm talking about borrowing other people's audiences, I'm getting into a mega church where 45,000 people attend on a weekly basis. 45,000 people attend on a weekly basis. And when I go back this next month, I'm meeting with the head pastor's son because he wants us to bring velocity banking. He wants us to bring tax saving strategies into their church to be able to help them start understanding how to get out of debt faster, how to be able to do these things. Now, guys, this is what I know. This conversation that I have, it's an entryway to get into the door. But when we become more likable, when we do these other things, what ends up happening is this. When we become more likable, we are able to go out and get inside those doors. I want you to think about this. What would happen if you could just go into a group of 100 people? How many people would be interested in Renatus? Versus 1,000 people, versus 10,000 people, versus 45,000, 60, 80, 100,000 people. It comes down to understanding their drive, what drives them, understanding and becoming more likable, and having a knowledge of Renatus inside and out. Guys, I didn't start in this position 8.5 years ago. 8.5 years ago, had 60 to 100 collection calls coming in every single day. Today, my life's a lot different because I stopped worrying about me, as Zig Ziglar says. The more you help other people get what they want, the more you get what you want. And that's exactly what we're helping people do. Become more likable. Care about people more. Truly listen to them and what they are saying. When we listen to what they are saying, you will be able to go out and have more success because you are sincere. And the biggest thing is this: you are actually one of the only individuals that are listening to what they're saying. Over a month ago, my wife and I were looking, the car she has now, it's kind of on its last leg. We've got it. We bought the car back 8 years ago, and it was, what was it? It was 5 years old or something when we got it. So we're out looking for a new car. And my wife's like, well, I think I want a Suburban. And I'm like, everyone has a Suburban. We ended up going and looking at a different one, the Ford Expedition Max. And it was interesting. I had never seen one on the road before. Never seen the Ford Expedition Max on the road. What's interesting is in the last month, I probably see now 1 to 2 a year one or two a day on the road, because what happens? I am now more aware of it. And that is what happens when we start listening to what other people are saying. As we're able to listen to what they're saying, they are telling us every single day, I want Renatus. But because we aren't triggered and focused on what they're saying to be able to help them, guys, we are passing by people every single day that want what we have, but because we aren't listening, we aren't able to give them what they want. Be able to go out, understand this is a step-by-step process to building the business, become more likable, be able to get to ATM, be able to plug into the events, watch the 10-step training, get in and get involved with what is taking place. Make sure you guys get to regionals. It's going to be a wonderful experience. And then I know here at the Utah Regionals and other things we're doing, we're going to be having a lot of fun, sharing a lot of new information. But guys, I congratulate you for being on this call. I congratulate you for what you're doing, whether you just got started or you've been in a couple of years. Truly care about the other people, help them out. Let's go out and have massive success, and look forward to talking to you guys soon. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.